Ever wondered why old photographs from the 19th century always look so serious, almost gloomy? Well, a big part of that has to do with the Victorians' very intense relationship with death. And I mean intense. This wasn't just a simple funeral and moving on. It was a full-blown, years-long production with more rules than a royal wedding. So where did all this come from? Two main things. First, life back then was incredibly fragile. With diseases we now cure easily running rampant, death was a constant, everyday reality. But the trend really went into overdrive thanks to one person, Queen Victoria herself. When her beloved husband, Prince Albert, died in 1861, she was utterly devastated. She plunged into a deep state of mourning and wore black for the rest of her life. That is 40 years. As the ultimate trendsetter of her time, the entire society followed her lead. And mourning became a highly fashionable, albeit grim, status symbol. The rules were incredibly specific. If you were a widow, get ready for a strict schedule. The first year and a day was called full mourning. You'd wear head-to-toe black made from non-reflective fabrics like crepe. Your face would be covered by a heavy black veil, and you were expected to withdraw completely from society. No parties, no fun, no smiling in public. It was all about showing your profound grief. After about a year, you could graduate to second mourning. This was a bit more relaxed. You could introduce shades like gray, mauve, or purple. The heavy crepe could be replaced with silk, and you could start to re-enter society, but very cautiously. Then came half mourning, where more normal colors and activities were permitted. The entire process for a widow could last 2.5 years or more. Men had it much easier, of course. A widower might only wear a black armband for a few months and could then remarry pretty quickly. Social double standards, right? Even children weren't exempt. They had their own mourning clothes, and it wasn't just about what you wore. Your entire home had to reflect your grief. Curtains were drawn, mirrors were covered superstition. Said the soul of the deceased could get trapped in them, and clocks were stopped at the time of death. They even had special black-edged stationery for writing letters. It was a total aesthetic commitment. One of the most fascinating, and to us maybe strangest, customs was post-mortem photography. That's right, taking photos of the recently deceased. It sounds morbid, but for many families this might be the only photograph they ever had of a loved one, especially a child. These photos, known as memento mori, or remember you must die, were cherished keepsakes. The deceased were often posed as if they were just sleeping peacefully, sometimes even with other family members. Then there was the jewelry. Mourning jewelry was huge. Instead of diamonds and rubies, people wore pieces made of jet, a black fossilized wood. But the most personal, and maybe a little creepy, trend was hair jewelry. Locks of the deceased's hair would be intricately woven into bracelets, lockets, brooches, and rings. It was a way to keep a physical part of their loved one with them always. You could even buy pre-made hair art from a catalog if you didn't have any of your own. As the 20th century rolled in, with the massive scale of loss from World War I and a general shift in social attitudes, these elaborate rituals began to fade away. They seemed impractical and out of touch with the modern world. But looking back gives us a unique window into the Victorian mind, a society that, faced with constant loss, tried to control and formalize death itself, turning grief into a public art form. It's a stark contrast to how we handle loss today, isn't it? What do you think is the most bizarre Victorian mourning custom? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. And if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into history's fascinating corners. See you next time.